Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been about 7 months since my last YouTube upload back in mid-December. And if you've been following me on TikTok, I posted one video, but you might have seen a short that I posted right before the World Cup. We had the Algerian team staying here in Lawrence, Kansas, where I live. They're basically, this is their home base, and playing in Kansas City. I think they might have played 1 or 2 games elsewhere, but I actually thought that I had cross-posted that video here to YouTube and totally forgot. So if you only watch me here, yeah, I've kind of been a ghost since wintertime, so my bad, but I'm going to try to make an effort to do some more videos, especially going into this upcoming Chiefs season. And, I've just been itching to play some music and get it out there. So where have I been? Well, I got into one of my big hobbies. I'm a DIY electronics person. Well, first of all, I was working my full-time job at the time. It was holiday season. I worked at a liquor store, and it was crazy. I started making my pedals. Oh, at that time, the Chiefs were in a major funk, and it was just burning me out. I was trying to get these Swiftie song roulette videos out every week on Friday, and it was taking up all my free time, so I just needed a little time to myself. So anyway, I got into my pedal building, and I've been working on this distortion, overdrive fuzz pedal, kind of a combination of the three. I'll demo that to you here at some point, but it's a lot of fun. I had to pause on that because of the tariffs. Last time I ordered pedal parts, it was literally more than half the cost. Tariffs are really hitting that industry hard, so I'll get back to that, and I'll eventually make my pedal and show it to you on here. But along with that, I did something else that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and that is start an online e-commerce storefront. So I started a store on Fourthwall, which is going to be my main store. And then I also started a store on Redbubble. And I have a few things on Etsy. I'm focusing more on Fourthwall and Redbubble for right now, but the store is called Analog Threads and Goods, and it's merch for musicians. I'm sure that you will hear about it in the future, so we'll move on from that. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to talk about really was the Chiefs season last year. So, as you know, I'm a big Chiefs fan, and it was really a disappointing season. That happens sometimes from, when teams have been rolling. People say the dynasty is crumbling. Well, we'll just have to see about that in this upcoming season. But yeah, the Chiefs, I want to say they started off strong, but they didn't start off strong. They had their struggles all through the year, and, to be honest, it was pretty much the same exact team and format as the year before. Now, the year before, we did make it to the Super Bowl. We should not have made it to the Super Bowl that year before. We won pretty much every single game by the skin of our teeth, and, just got lucky. All right, let me show you my pedal here real quick. And it's not a pedal yet. It's only on what is called a breadboard. It's basically a bunch of little holes that you put the components in. But I am a DIY kind of guy. And, my wife worked at a makeup counter for a very long time. She was a manager of a makeup department. And she got this thing one time. It's an Estee Lauder box that had I don't know what was in here. It was, probably eyeshadow or something. But when she was done with it, I was like, you mind if I have that thing? And I, put some holes in it here. This is to feed some wires. I got an input and output jack, and then a little 9-volt DC jack there. And then I can open it up. And I have my little power switch here, which I actually burned the LED light on the very first time I hooked this up. So I always wire LEDs down here to tell when it's on. But there's my breadboard. You can kind of see what's on it. There's some resistors and capacitors and diodes and potentiometers and all sorts of fun stuff. But I play around with this stuff in my free time, make some cool sounds, and see how all the stuff's made on the back end. But this actually has a couple cables in it where it goes out to a switch. And this pedal I'm working on starts off as kind of a light, crunchy, almost kind of Klon sounding overdrive. And you get about medium dirt. It kind of starts to get a little fuzzy halfway you turn it up. And then when you turn it all the way up, you kind of get that. I was kind of going after some of the tones from the first Tame Impala Inner Speaker album. So you can get a lot of tones out of this thing. And then I'm putting a switch on it where there's a legacy mode, which is what I originally had planned for it. And then I forget what the other mode is, but we'll do a little demo on that in the future. But I wanted to come on here just to do a video. First of all, to let you know that I'm okay. I'm still here, if you were following it all. Also, I wanted to talk about the Taylor Swift stuff a little bit. It started off with me, I listen to a lot of instrumental music, a lot of jam band music, a lot of music that, older music, jazz, and I really don't have much exposure to things like, Spotify and pop music, well, at least the top hits on Spotify. So I started off doing this Spotify song roulettes where you would pick a song off the top 40 or top 50 or whatever, and I'd listen to it, react to it, write out a chart for it. Most of those only had a handful of chords in them, if that. And so I got a little bored. So I was like, we're getting into football season. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had just gotten engaged, and I was like, this is a perfect opportunity. My wife's a Taylor Swift fan, and I heard some of the stuff here and there, but I'd never really dove in and intently listened. And it really just kind of snowballed into this whole thing. Like, I was really enjoying all these Taylor Swift songs, and I was actively avoiding trying to listen to her other stuff so it could be fresh when I listened to it for the first time. So since then, I've listened to pretty much all of Taylor Swift's albums. I have Disney Plus, so I've watched a bunch of Taylor Swift stuff, from the Eras Tour to like the Long Pond sessions and all that cool stuff. But yeah, what was happening there is I would make these videos and I would record about, an hour and a half or 2 hours of content, try to strip it down into, ideally 35, 40 minutes. Sometimes they'd go almost into 50 minutes. And then, I would record these on Monday and try to release them on Red Friday. Red Friday is basically Chiefs fans wear red on Fridays before game day. And, I had a little moment in there where we did Chiefs chats in the Swiftie song roulettes just to kind of, if anybody wasn't familiar with football or the Chiefs organization or whatever, kind of give you a little insight into that. But, as the Chiefs continue to really be underwhelming last year for the fans. And, a lot of people don't realize this, that were born in the last couple, decades or two. Chiefs sucked for a really long time. They were a really bad organization. I mean, year after year, they were a good organization, but as far as like the people in it, but as far as the performance was concerned, they had a lot of problems. And it was very, very difficult being a Chiefs fan for pretty much most of my life up until Mahomes came in. Really up until Andy Reid came in there. Gave us some hope with Alex Smith. Mahomes came in and, now people hate us like they hated the Patriots. So, which I get, because I didn't like the Patriots either. But, game respects game, I guess. But anyway, the season was progressing. I was getting into the holiday season at work, at my liquor store job. Things were getting crazy. I just got totally burned out. And I needed to step back and just kind of, let things breathe for a little while. Okay, here's a little personal thing, a little insight into me. Basically ever since I've been an adult, I've been in the alcohol industry and the music industry. I worked as a bartender, bar manager, got into liquor stores. I'm a liquor store manager currently. But in 2022, I took this corporate alcohol sales job and it didn't turn out very well. I enjoyed it here and there, but it was just a little too much for my personality. And I ended up getting fired for insubordination. I'm not really, I can follow rules, but I also question people's logic sometimes, which didn't really work out in my favor, but it's actually for the better because that job was bleeding me dry. But after I got fired, I decided, hey, I need to do something. I have a degree in linguistics, and you know, I just haven't, I'm not really cut out for, you know, corporate world or being a insurance salesman or a banker or something like that. But yeah, you know, it was really a punch in the gut, you know, getting fired from a job that I had really wanted and I was excelling at. I was the top salesperson in my division for 5 out of 6 straight months the day I was fired. But yeah, that was almost exactly 3 years ago. And I decided, you know, I need to figure something out. So I broke out this giant, I might have it around here somewhere, this big piece of newsprint that I had from my printmaking days. And I just made this big bubble chart of all these different things that I was interested in. And then I was like, okay, which of these things could have potential to, you know, help me build a business out of it? And so for the last 3 years, I started off with about 50 different things. And I've just been trying stuff out and cutting down the list. And I've limited it to, you know, music education, which involves content creation. You know, I love that. And it has potential to lead somewhere, you know, if I do something with it. I also wanted to make some art, and I've wanted to make clothing for a really long time. So I used what I learned in my printmaking classes and art classes to make some designs. And I decided that I wanted to start this merch store. So yeah, I have Fourthwall is my number one. Here's a little bit of my Fourthwall store here. You know, right now I have, I'm focusing on gig day designs, shirts that, you know, you could wear to about any gig situation. They're all over print, short sleeve button down shirts. You know, you could wear them everywhere from a dive bar to, you know, a psych rock gig to, you know, a corporate luncheon gig. All right, so that's my merch store. I didn't come on here to really plug that too much. I don't plan on plugging it too much here and there. I have a complete separate channel on YouTube and on TikTok just for the merch store. So check it out if you get a chance. But yeah, other than that's about it. You know, I plan on coming in here in the future, you know, getting back on track with, I have a long list of video ideas, you know, just get back to fundamentals, maybe do some more song roulettes and other stuff. So anyway, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you hanging around with me. I know there's not a whole lot exciting. I'm just sitting here and running my yapper, but you know, sometimes you have to do that. So thanks for sticking around again. Hit subscribe, check out the merch. I'm going to put the links below for stuff, and I'll plan on seeing you in the next video. See ya, friends.